Generalized linear models make several key assumptions. If these are not reasonable, the output can be biased or even downright misleading. That is why diagnostics are a crucial part of analysis. They help us detect problems and point us in the right direction. The easiest and most reliable way to do diagnostics for GLM is with a package called DHARMa. While this package is only available in R, I've written an example implementation in Python, which you can find in the description. DHARMa uses a simulation-based approach that results in these two plots. If the distributional assumption of the model is reasonable, then on the left, the points should more or less follow the straight line. A significance test for deviation, over-dispersion, and outlierness are included for ease of judgment. If the model captures the trend in the data well, then on the right, these lines should not reveal any remaining trend. And if the distribution's mean-variance relationship holds up, the line should also not diverge. Do these two plots reveal no particular problem, then we can move on to interpreting the output. But what exactly are we looking at? And why can't we just use the diagnostics from ordinary linear models? In ordinary linear models, we assume a normal distribution around the line that looks the same at any point. So we can simply take the deviations around the line, called the residuals, and compare their distribution to an actual normal distribution. For generalized linear models, that doesn't quite work. For one, the assumed distribution can be discrete and bounded, but residuals are continuous values and can also be negative. Second, in most GLMs, the mean and variance are related, so the distribution we assume looks different at every point. This makes diagnostics for GLM a little bit complicated, because what exactly should we be comparing? And what should we be comparing it to? Over the years, various methods were proposed to address this, like Pearson residuals and deviance residuals, but these can be difficult to interpret and are still not that useful for discrete GLMs, like Poisson and binomial. In practice, this meant that the promise of a unified framework was only partly fulfilled, as GLM diagnostics largely involved bespoke solutions. That is until a package came along called DHARMa, which made diagnostics a lot easier as well as consistent between different GLMs. So what does this package do? DHARMa uses a very clever trick to transform GLM output to a uniform scale. If on this scale the values look like random uniform noise, then on the original scale your model assumptions held up reasonably well. So what is the clever trick? There's a phenomenon in probability theory that goes like this. If you have a set of values from a known distribution and you know the CDF of that distribution, then applying the CDF to those values always results in uniformly distributed values between 0 and 1. The reason this works is because the CDF answers a question. What proportion of values do you expect up till a certain point? For example, up till this point, if this covers the lowest 10% of the distribution and you find an observation here, then you expect around 10% of the sample to have a lower value than this observation. If we divide the distribution this way into any number of equal parts, then we expect the same number of observations in each part. So naturally, this ends up flat, and a flat distribution is called uniform. The trick can even be extended to discrete distributions by adding random uniform noise in between possible values on this scale. And with that, provided we know their CDF, any set of random values can be converted into uniformly distributed values, a concept known as the universality of the uniform. Unfortunately, in real life we never know the true distribution, nor the CDF of our observations. That's why we're doing diagnostics in the first place. We can make clever guesses, good approximations, but in the end, all we have is assumptions. But here comes the trick. This is the clever observation. What if all our assumptions are correct? In that case, we can turn the outcome into something uniform. In practice, model assumptions are never truly correct, but we still end up with a useful measure. The further we deviate from uniformity, the less realistic our assumptions are. By simulating new possible values from the model many times over, DHARMa determines for each observation what the assumed distribution looks like, and then looks where each observation would fall in its own assumed distribution. From there on, applying all the estimated CDFs to their corresponding observations should result in random, uniform noise if the assumptions are reasonable. The result is then plotted against a true uniform distribution, and that is DHARMa's figure on the left. Approximate uniformity on this scale means our chosen distribution on the original scale was apparently a reasonable choice. On the right, the default plot again shows the uniform scale DHARMa values, but now plots them against the predicted values. If we move from left to right, we are essentially traveling up or down the estimated relationship. If the model fits poorly and there is some remaining relationship with the explanatory variable, that will appear in this plot as curvature in the estimated smoothing lines. The lines on the right are estimated using a technique called quantile regression. A quantile tells you at what point you expect a certain proportion of values. The bottom line shows where the lowest 25% of values are, the middle line the lowest 50%, and the top line the lowest 75%. The idea behind this is very simple. If the model captures the mean variance relationship of the outcome well, then the quantile lines should be very close to 0.25, 0.50, and 0.75. If the quantiles are further apart or drift away from each other with increasing values, that means the variance is larger than your model predicts. Since this involves multiple significance tests, there is an inflated chance of a false positive. DHARMa corrects for this by also including what it calls a combined adjusted quantile test. Only if this test goes off were significant problems detected overall. Even if the overall fit is reasonable, individual observations may still have an unreasonable influence. So how does DHARMa check for outliers? Remember that for each observation, DHARMa simulates new possible values based on the model to see what proportion of simulated values is lower than the actual observation. But what if all simulated values are lower? This is what DHARMa calls an outlier, an observation completely outside the range of simulated values. On the right, these are marked as red dots, 0 meaning all simulated values were larger, and 1 meaning all simulated values were smaller than the actual observation. On the left, DHARMa's outlier test checks how often this happens and whether this matches what you'd expect given the sample size. Unfortunately, there are two major limitations to this definition of an outlier. First, whether an observation is flagged depends on the number of simulations. With more simulations, rare events will occur and the range of simulated values will grow wider. But the more fundamental issue is this. DHARMa's definition of an outlier ignores magnitude. An observation over here is considered just as much of an outlier as an observation over here, as both fall outside the simulated range. For this reason, I recommend supplementing DHARMa's plots with a magnitude-based measure like the Cook's distance, which is well defined for GLMs. A Cook's distance above 0.5 is worth investigating, and values above 1 are typically considered outlying. Sometimes DHARMa returns a plot like this. This happens when all explanatory variables are categorical or when a continuous explanatory variable has only a limited number of distinct values. Fortunately, the assessment for this plot is pretty much the same, as a box plot also shows the lowest 25, 50, and 75% of values. So simply check whether the center and limits of the box match up with these values. Do the limits of the box far exceed these values, then there is some form of overdispersion. DHARMa also offers other options, like plotting its values against a specific explanatory variable, which is quite useful for multiple regression models where an overall lack of fit could be due to any of the included variables. For a comprehensive overview, refer to the package vignette, which I have linked below. We've now covered most of a GLM's assumptions, but what about independence? Just like in ordinary linear models, this is not something you can easily check with diagnostics. There are exceptions, like when you have a time or location variable, but there is no general way to detect dependent data. That means you have to consider how the observations were collected. Are these 50 separate trees, or perhaps 5 trees measured repeatedly over time, as the latter would clearly not be independent. As a reminder then, the point of diagnostics is not to prove your assumptions, but merely to show after you've already tried to justify them whether they actually hold up in your data. In summary, the output of a generalized linear model can only be trusted if its assumptions are reasonable, but GLMs allow distributions that are discrete, bounded, and whose variance depends on the mean, which makes diagnostics for GLM inherently more complicated than for ordinary linear models. DHARMa solves this by transforming GLM output to a uniform scale. If the assumptions are reasonable, the resulting values should behave like random uniform noise. Deviations from uniformity, remaining trends, or diverging quantiles all point to specific problems with model fit. Even if the overall fit is reasonable, individual observations can still exert too much influence. For this, you can use the Cook's distance to check for outliers. Used this way, DHARMa offers a consistent framework for diagnosing any type of GLM. If the assumptions are violated, you can resort to one of the alternatives displayed here. As usual, example scripts are linked in the description.